Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Henry DeVries with Indie Books International, and welcome to our Marketing with a Book and Speech Q&A. Today, we're going to talk about the Magnificent Seven, the 7 best things we have researched that you can do to generate leads for your agency, for your strategic consulting practice, for your executive coaching. And the intent here is to be free forum after that, and you can ask whatever you want. As things come up, we'll make notes and send them out and send a recording of this. I also want to encourage everybody to do 2 things. One is in the chat. This is not a selling zone, but in the chat, put your contact information, because we find a lot of people on these calls get to know each other, and maybe they talk offline and do something, and we're all for that. If it helps you, that's great. The second thing is, when you ask questions, just give a couple of words about your business, not that long sentence thing, but I might say, I run Indie Books International and I write for Forbes.com, just so people get a context of who you are and where you're coming from. Somebody right now is typing, and if you could put yourself on mute when you're not speaking, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. That'd be appreciated. So let me jump right into the Magnificent Seven. These are the top 7 things that we have researched to do to market with a book and a speech. Number 1, you're on it. Small scale seminars. Best thing you can do. People can experience you. Everyone's different. People can come to multiple ones because they meet other people in the community. I can attest, without doing any selling, I've picked up clients from being on other people's Q&As. Why? Because you follow the rules of generosity, where you just, if you see something and you can help somebody, do something to help them. Shoot them a text, shoot them a private message. Totally good about that. Generosity is the secret sauce. It's the killer app. And I don't think you can train it. You're born with it. We just like to encourage it. So be a generous person into the community, and that will benefit you. We also believe in doing Zoominars. We're finding that less is more now. A half an hour is better than an hour. Actually, 25 minutes. One of our authors trained us that things are 25 minutes or 50 minutes these days. So people have time to get to their next item. We're still doing these at 45 to 50 minutes on our Q&As. So, number 2, speak. Get invited to speak on other people's events. And that might even be a guest on somebody's Q&A, to be the resource expert in the first 10 minutes. Podcasts. There's a gazillion of out there. Be strategic on which podcasts you go on, but we get clients from going on podcasts. We see a direct tie to business because people experience you. They hear what your point of view is. We all make decisions. Is this person full of BS, or is this person somebody who could help me? That's what that does. Number 3 is get published. And there's a spectrum of getting published. Yes, I work my way up to Forbes.com, and I'm paid to write 5 columns a month. And if anybody hasn't been pitched me on a Forbes column, then you're not trying, because all you have to do is send me an email and say, how do I get in Forbes? And I'll send you an instruction sheet on how to do that. I'm always looking for good stories. And if you're in the community here, I'm very agreeable to hear the ideas. But that's not where you have to start. You can start all the way with LinkedIn and a LinkedIn newsletter. I started a LinkedIn newsletter agency, Rainmaker, in January, and now have over 1,800 subscribers, and I post weekly at the same time, and I have other groups that post at that same time, and we comment on each other's newsletter. That is free, so it's not a paid thing. Number 4 is find target-rich environments for you. Find places where people who are your target, where do they go to get smarter? Where do they go to learn things? This is from the author Pamela Slim and her book, The Whitest Net. And I've written about the strategy on Forbes. If you're interested in that, we can get you a copy of that article or a link to it. But it's basically looking for these places and then volunteer, be generous, try to help. If you join the association, get on a committee. By the way, the membership committee always has an opening, by the way. When I was running my agency in San Diego, and we were very big in the new home niche. So we own that. And I wanted to diversify with another niche, and I decided hospitality. So started a hospitality niche at the agency. And I went to join the Hotel Motel Association. And the membership woman said, "I'm very confused." I said, what are you confused about? She says, "Well, Mr. DeVries, you're the only agency that has joined the Hotel Motel Association." And I thought, excellent. Within a year, I had 3 hotels as clients because I volunteered, and I volunteered for the membership committee. And they actually put on a membership contest, and I signed up 1 hotel. But it was the largest hotel in San Diego. It was not a member yet. And the contest was how many rooms, and it had 3,000 rooms. So I even won a trip to New Orleans from it. More important was I could call anybody and say, "Well, I'm on the membership committee of the Hotel Motel Association." And they'd say, "Oh, do you own a hotel?" I said, "No, I own an advertising and PR agency." And they would say, "Oh, we're thinking about bidding that account." And I would reply, "Well, that's interesting. Getting back to the Hotel Motel Association, have you considered membership and the benefits?" So, stay within what you're doing for the group, but people will do business with people they know, like, and trust. The next thing is networking. Yes, networking. Now, that used to be I'd have to go to the Hotel Motel Association meetings. Now that there's so much online and virtual, you need to polish your virtual networking skills, and it can be done. I wrote about that in my book, Rainmaker Confidential. Yeah, no, I'm not plugging it, but if you do want, I'll autograph one if you buy it. If you buy 2, I'll come to your house and read it to you. But I'm not hawking the book. But in Rainmaker Confidential, I interviewed top rainmakers at agencies and consulting firms on how they were virtually networking. So there's tips in there for that. Number 6 is YouTube, and getting more and more on YouTube. Every business is in the video business these days. We have to have lots of video content. We have to, and I'm an author. I know people don't like to read. That's why I record these. That's why we record other things that we're doing. And that's why we have a weekly Agency Rainmaker TV show. It's really like a podcast, but it's a lot cooler to say you have a TV show. In 6 months, no one has asked me any question when I said, "Would you like to be on my TV show?" Their answer is yes. And we just work out the details for them appearing. It's a YouTube TV show, our YouTube channel, and then we do a 1-minute promo for it. Oh, the show's only 15 minutes. We keep it brief. Short attention span theater, brothers and sisters. This is what we're into now. So short attention span theater, but little videos. We always have a how-to topic, how to do this, how to do that. I interviewed Craig Cody today, and he is a CPA that helps agency owners and consultants, and it's how to pay less taxes. And then we also interviewed Craig Cody on how does he make it rain. Okay, we also put that on Spotify. We also put that on iTunes. So that's the audio only part of it, but YouTube. Number 7 is host a for pay, charge a fee seminar or workshop. and get people to pay. What happens is it requires you to come up with content so valuable, people will pay money to hear what you have to say. And even though they're paying you anywhere from $200 to $800, that's not really the revenue stream is not why you do it. It's what happens as a result, the clients you get. And I'll give you the quick, dirty little secret. I've written articles and about this, and I have white papers and all sorts of things if you're interested. But the dirty little secret is proprietary research with their competitors. And if you can tell them in general what their competitors are spending more money on, less money on, what's their go-to strategy, what they're going away from, this is very attractive, because the dirty little secret for every business is fear. Fear that the competition has figured it out and you're so busy doing it, what you're doing, you didn't look up and see what happened, and you're going to get passed by and you're going to lose and you're going to look bad. So it's fear, uncertainty, and doubt, but you solve it by saying that they can come to your event and find out how they compare to their peers. Okay, that's the Magnificent Seven. I'm the strategy book speaking person. Devin is the social media web details on getting a book produced person, and we'll field any question you have. Devin, do you want to take it to the Brady Bunch screen? There you go. I hope that's not too old a reference. Hollywood Squares, probably pretty old reference too. But anyway, checkerboard, here we go. Anybody, oh, good to see you, Dr. Liz. Anybody have a question? You can raise a hand or shout it out.
I have a question.
Thank you, Hannah.
Or just something that you guys can share, because Henry, you mentioned YouTube and book and podcasts and all these different platforms, and one of the things that we hear a lot from our clients is that that seems really overwhelming, and so we talk about the slice and dice model, how you can use that in multiple places. So how do you guys get all of that done? Like, what does that look like for you guys?
Sure. So, and in the slice and dice model that Hannah's referring to, Predictive ROI preaches this about cornerstone content and also reuse of content. So in my world, usually the first thing I'm doing is a Forbes column. And then from the Forbes column, I'm turning that into the newsletters. I'm also turning it into my weekly tip that I send out to my opt-in list. Oh, clue, biggest asset that business can have is the opt-in list, where people gave you their address and permission to contact them because they love your content and you're helpful and you're not slimy, it's like you're not manipulative. So the other thing is, like on the TV show, which is video, I transcribe those. And I use rev.com, but there's all sorts of chat bots you can use to put on there. And then I have content, and I can turn that into a blog. I can turn that into an article. So I can turn that into tips. So we have it there. Then I take that and turn all that into the books. And then the books get sliced and diced as my content for my newsletters, for podcast appearances and all that. So great workshop that Agency Management Inc. and Predictive ROI put on annually about how do you organize that whole action plan and assign people to it so it's not so overwhelming. And the short thing I'll just end with is get help. Don't try to do all this yourself. I like to say here is, it's like a football team, and I'm the quarterback. I get a lot of attention. Oh, without the whole team, I'm nothing. I can't do all this. and serve clients too. So Hannah, thanks for a great question. Devin, are you monitoring chat to see if there are questions in there?
Yes, I am. I do have one thing to add though to Hannah's question, if you don't mind.
Please.
I would say for videos too, those can be broken down into smaller clips and sound bites. You know, if you're on a podcast that's, 30 minutes to 45 minutes long, you can get quite a few little tip videos out of that you can then share on your social media. Obviously, if you do the video yourself, you have full control. But if you're on somebody else's podcast and they're willing to give you the source recording to kind of parse out, I mean, it's definitely something to ask for because that's valuable content as well.
I have a question.
Yes, please, Jamie.
For building the
Jamie, what does your company do?
the Expressory. Well, so earlier when I introduced ourselves, we are a strategic engagement agency. We manage all the little personal touch points and strategic relationship building that happens for your company, because otherwise everybody's too busy to do it themselves. So as you're building your Q&A, where are you finding success, right? Marketing that? Are you leveraging some of your LinkedIn momentum?
Thanks
for
for the question.
invites, things like that?
So how do we get people to attend the Q&As? One thing is, and again, I keep saying, you're going to be embarrassed, Hannah, by the end of this. Some great refinements we got from working with Predictive ROI and their starting block program was rewriting our emails for this. And we've turned to clarity over cleverness. So there's just like 4 lines. Devin and I are hosting a Q&A, and this is the topic, and we'll do it. And here's a link if you want more. And just that brief. I think people are so busy these days. You just need to cut through, and they need to go, that lizard brain, part of the 3 parts of the brain goes, Q&A, good. We need more clients, money, so then they attend if they can. Then we go to LinkedIn. We have a LinkedIn program that Devin started, and we've gone from 0 to 16,000 on LinkedIn. We've been much more targeted with the last 4,000 people, and but we do the anti-slime approach. So my LinkedIn to anybody in marketing begins with, when I was president of an ad agency, I used to make big plans and watch them go horribly wrong. Now I write about agencies and marketing for Forbes.com. If you get a moment, take a look at my profile and see if it makes sense for us to link in. I mean, that is so opposite of what everybody does. One, usually this vague general thing about, oh, I see we have much in common and you look very interesting and I appreciate your work. It was like, oh, really? I was going to say something inappropriate. I won't. A small victory for you, Devin. But it's just some of these vague things that just rub me the wrong way so much. And if I'm feeling, what do you call it? Feeling my oats, feeling my beans, as they said up in Canada when I worked there, I'll say, oh, what was it about me that we have in common? What about my work did you find so interesting? Silence, So, and usually their next thing is followed by, could we meet for 30 minutes about me becoming your life coach? Like, wow, this is the first outreach is you want to be my life coach? It's like, that's like people, their first thing on, dating is, I was hoping we could get married. Yeah, not how you want to lead in. So Jamie, back to it. We also, in addition to LinkedIn and List, I post on Facebook. Our people like Facebook, and I don't do everything on Facebook isn't business. Our personal brand promise is generosity, family, and fun. The family refers to our family of 150 authors. So Jean and Dr. Steve and Allison, Leslie, Angie, these are in the family. And we want to help the family as much as possible and go forward with that. So, and then the fun part of, we don't take ourselves seriously. We take business seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously. We want our fun meters on max, and that's part of the brand. So on Facebook, we have fun. LinkedIn's more, here's what the business is. Here's what we're doing there. So if you want to have fun with us, come on over to that. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, I think so. Did anybody do that new, what is that, Thread yet? Thread, right? The new Twitter. Sign up for that yet? No. Because they need one more thing, right?
Yeah, I saw my Meta stock go up though. That was nice.
Mine too. So I have Tesla as
2022,
well, so.
tough year.
Mhm.
My market basket of technology companies didn't do so well.
Just don't look.
Just don't look. I know.
Hey,
Mhm.
Henry,
Yeah,
I don't-
David.
I don't want to be your life coach.
Yes, thank you.
But I would like to see the Forbes checklist. You mentioned it at the beginning. Would you be able to drop
Yeah.
that? in the chat?
So what you so send an email, Devin. Maybe you could put this in chat for me. Henry at indiebooksintl.com. She'll put it in chat.
Okay.
And then
Thank
all
you.
the subject line has to be Forbes, and you don't need to say anything. Just that'll be enough to remind me. And
Well,
I'm a big believer in templates that I tailor. So I'll just tailor the template to you and get it out right away.
Well, if I wrote anything more, I would be starting to be your life coach. So
Right. Looking for any other questions for the good of the order.
Hey, Henry, it's Steve Swavely. I've got one for you.
Hi, Dr. Steve.
Yeah. So I'm Steve Swavely, and I operate a business called Evolution Leadership Coaching. And my question is, this webinar right here, would you say it's a good representation of the Q&R small scale sessions that you're advocating that we do?
Yes, it's a Q&A, question and answer version of the small scale seminar.
Yeah.
And
And so it's
50
kind
minutes
of,
or less. Yep.
you did like 15 minutes of content on a particular topic, and then you open it up for Q&A is essentially the model. Okay.
Right. And I'm okay that I have clients and advocates on the phone, on the session, because 80% of our work comes from referrals. So
Right.
I'm happy with that, and doing that. So it doesn't have to be all about prospects and strangers. Also generous, Jamie is one of our faculty members, and teaches for us, and she has me on hers. And Predictive ROI has me on theirs. And we've got some other people that within this community we've built where we go on each other's. And I look at all those as speaking engagements. And just what you did right there was a speaking engagement. Devin, your hand?
Yeah, so Steve, I would also add, we tested just kind of an open topic Q&A model where we just said, come ask us anything about book publishing, marketing, we'll be there at this time, versus what we're doing now where we set a topic for the month and we share a little insight first and then do the Q&A, and that's working better. The really open-ended Q&A, I think, puts people a little bit on the spot and they don't know what to expect. So we're seeing a lot more success having a topic of the month, and then we let people know in advance, and that is more attractive to them. So I would say that's a good model to have, is, you know, to have a little bit of content and then the Q&A.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. It gives some structure to the conversation. So I like that idea. Thank you.
And free flowing, Steve, I was talking about us physically getting our leadership authors together. And I'm looking at this, the first thing we should do is we could just have a private Q&A for our leadership authors. So you and Dean Menudo and Dr. Brian Deptula and these other people, would be good to get them together. Steve Van Valen and Allison would be somebody good to invite to that too. So we because the virtual is so much easier for us to do. Physically getting together is coming back. We recommend it. We're doing an event. Jamie and I will be speaking in Chicago this month together with some other experts. And we're getting great buzz on that and people attending. So we see that there's still be a mix between live and virtual events. But there's just so much logic with the low barrier to entry for people to attend something virtual. Now, we also offer a recording, but I don't believe anybody listens to the recording who doesn't come. They mean to, they want to, but they got other things going in their lives. They need to be in the moment.
I don't know, according to YouTube, they do.
Well,
Our
who might
YouTube
argue
stats
YouTube?
say somebody's watching them.
And I get people telling me they watch my recordings. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I'm one of those cynical journalists. Don't believe me. Any other questions from the gallery here? Well, hearing none, I'm going to give you the rest of your day back. So thanks for coming out. And our next one, we do ours first Thursday of the month. So we'll be back the 3rd of August, and hope to see you there at a future one. So with that, I wish you all well and talk to you later. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.